So we've come up here into the foothills of the San Gabriels to do some long exposure photography. Behind you is this amazing view of the city, but for now we're focusing looking this way because there's actually this great S-bend. Just going to take a photo right now as I'm talking to you. More or less, as cars come by, we are on this big U-turn. So as the car comes by, we're doing a long exposure, and we actually see the car, the sort of streak of light come across the screen. It's a really cool look. Here you can see sort of our first test photos. It's a little bit too much ground in there for us, but it's a really cool effect. We're currently shooting on a 16-35 at 16 millimeters, and I almost want to be wider than this, but we're working with what we have. Currently, my settings are at 15 seconds, which is about the amount of time it takes for these cars to go by. Some people are driving pretty fast, so sometimes it's even too long. My ISO is at 1000, which for this camera is definitely within range. I might go even a little bit higher, and I'm at f2.8. So I might go to f4 or 5.6 just to make sure that everything's really in focus, and then boost my ISO just to bring up the brightness a little bit. Also, typically I wouldn't wear a headlamp like this in a video, but I just wanted to mention that when doing long exposure photography, when you're out here in the dark, we have this white light just so you guys can see us or see me talking. The red light though, it doesn't affect your night vision. It enables you to still see in the darkness, whereas a white light, it'll make it much harder to see once you turn off that light. A red light, your eyes still adjust to the lighting around you, and it makes it a lot easier to see. I can also still see the functions on my camera and adjust all those without, turning on a bright white light and then having my eyes to have to readjust. One thing to be careful though, if you have any lights on and you're taking long exposures, that light will bleed into your photo. So you don't want that to happen because well, maybe you do want that to happen, but for this sake, we don't want that to happen. So we're just waiting for another car to come by now. I've tilted up so we have less ground in the frame. I've gone to an ISO of 4000, f5.6, 15-second shutter. Really, this is all guesswork, and you just have to try again until you find the right settings for you and the photo you're trying to take. Oh, we got a car coming. So I just took the shutter. There goes the car. And just waiting for the 15 seconds to be up. And there it goes. So you'll notice sometimes after taking these photos that you can't preview the photo right away. It's because your camera is actually processing all that light and turning it into one image. So let's check this out. Oh man, yeah, this is awesome. So because the car is coming around a U-bend, we have both red light from the brakes and white light from the headlights. And it's almost surreal. You can see where the headlamps have lit up the surrounding area. And then as the car comes around and that red light becomes revealed, the red light sort of comes into play as it makes its way around that bend. Now, looking up in the sky, we do not see any stars. That is because we have Los Angeles below us and we have tons of light pollution. It also is a little bit hazy out tonight, so there's just enough stuff in the atmosphere that we're not seeing any stars. There's a chance that when I bring this into post, they'll be able to use the dehaze filter on Lightroom and maybe bring out a star or two, but it's not looking too likely. So we're right here in the middle of the U-turn. I kind of want to see the entire thing. It's cropping just on the edges. So we're gonna move down the street a little bit, get more of one side and less of the other, but we'll be able to get the entire thing in the single frame. So, with long exposures, you gotta be patient. Each time you take a photo, it's gonna take 15 seconds or 30 seconds. And in this case, we're actually waiting for cars. So we have to be patient with this and take the time to get the shot. So let's move over there and see what we can get. Now at nighttime, you gotta be really careful that you move slowly and you don't fall off a cliff or damage any of your photo equipment. You want to just take the time and make sure you set up right. This could be, I don't know if I'm wide enough. Here comes another car though. Okay, so I'm not set up at all. The leg's not even on the ground. I've probably been moving it around. Let's see what this looks like though. That's pretty cool. Still not the whole thing. Yes, Phil has the right idea. This is another reason to go out and do these types of things with friends, because different people have different ideas. You just get to try different things. Another sort of pro tip is that if you do have a headlamp or any flashlight, you can sort of shine the light out there to actually see what's in your frame. So I can see that everything I want to be in this frame is actually in there. There is some stuff in the way, like there's this tree here, and because it's a little windy, I think it's going to be kind of blurry, but you know, we'll just have to wait for the next car and see how this looks. You know, maybe having the tree in there will be cool, and maybe I won't like it, but we'll give it a shot. So we just had this car go by. Moving up here, we were actually able to see the car come from a lot farther away and make the whole bend. And in the 15 seconds time, I counted it out. It was exactly 15 seconds from down there all the way around. So we got the full streak. It is a little overexposed, or I probably could stop down. But again, this is A7R3 shooting uncompressed RAW. There's tons of data in there. We'll be able to probably bring some things down. But overall, you know, I'm even seeing some stars in here now. It's a pretty cool shot. Phil, do you wanna take a look, or?
It's awesome. Oh, that's dope, yo. I mean, yeah, it could be a little less, but you want to get the streaks, but you could stop down. But
Yeah, no, I could stop down.
what are you at? That's
5.6.
oh wow.
Yeah.
Try stopping down one more.
All right, so I just hit the shutter, maybe a little prematurely, but there goes the truck, and he's going in the opposite direction, so we're going to have a lot more red light this time around. And we're actually getting a second car, so maybe right when this car comes, I'm going to stop down even to 11 now. I was just at F8, now I'm at F11, just to try something different. You know, we got lucky, we had two cars going in the same direction, so we'll be able to compare these two. Now this car is driving much slower, so I'm not sure they'll make it the entire distance, but they do. Almost made it the entire distance. So by stopping down, instead of just having these big blobs of white light, we now have much cleaner streaks. And whereas before it almost looked like the entire car was glowing, now it's really focused in on those headlights and those tail lights. It's really cool because we started the exposure when the cars were actually behind these trees, and so you get these little glimpses of like, oh, we got another car. And this car is coming the other direction, so again, we'll see the difference of when headlights are coming at you versus tail lights leading away. Okay, how does this one look? So again, it's processing, gotta be patient. Oh, that looks amazing. And it's kind of nice having these trees in there actually. It adds some foreground elements. I do think I'll probably crop this a little bit. Again, A7R3, I'm shooting probably close to 100 megapixel images right now. I mean, there's so much information in these things. I'll be able to play around with them a lot. I have the entire road in there though. I have this cool little star effect from the headlights. So that's long exposure photography. You know, this is very clearly, you know, having lights moving in your image. There's also astrophotography, all these other things. But the key things to remember are having a tripod, testing, you know, doing different f-stops so you have more in focus, less in focus. How high of an ISO can you go without making it look too noisy? And then, you know, really just being patient, taking the time to practice, compose your shots, finding the right angle to get the right location and the right, you know, scenery around you. It's all about patience. So go out there and have fun.